Hi, welcome back. We're here now looking at this card. Hi, welcome back. We're now looking at how to make this card. Again, using the Floral Phrases stamp set and designer series paper, the Floral Boutique paper that matches. And we've just introduced this little piece here, which is the gold sprinkle piece, as I call it. And that comes from the Pop of Pink designer series speciality paper pack, which has got 2 gold foil sheets in. So we're going to do some stamping, a little bit of cutting, and then layer that all up together. So the first thing you need is your Whisper White cardstock for doing your stamping, and this is 9.5 centimetres by 13.9 centimetres, and we're going to use the lovely floral stamp. And this time we're going to use Melon Mambo, which is this nice bright pink colour. And that's what we're going to use to stamp our roses. So you can see this stamp has a kind of a triangular shape to it from the back. And we're going to use that shape to help us position our stamp on our paper. So we're going to want to stamp the rounded corner down into this corner, and you know that you've got a little bit of extra room because the rubber goes all the way around. And then we're going to flip that over and stamp again in the other corner, and I do it this way rather than the secondary stamping until this is down, because then it gives you an idea of where you've got some room. You're now going to stamp without re-inking that, so you've got a second generation set of ink, and I'm just leaning forward. I'm going to stamp sort of halfway along like that. And that had a little bit of a fluff on there. That's alright, doesn't show very much. And then because I want that to be second generation ink again, I'm going to have to stamp it off on my paper before I stamp it again, and this time I'm going to just line up where that's going. Close as you can. And again, we're stamping off, and now we're going to go into those spaces that the roses have left. There. And then again, stamp off and go in there. There we go. And then you can decide which way up you want that. Looks pretty much the same both ways up, which is good. But I've kept the 2 darker roses to the corners. Okay. Now this is on a thick Whisper White card base, and this time I've taken an A4 piece and I've cut it in half across the middle there. So this is the A4 width here, and I've cut that at 14.9 centimetres. So this is 21 by 14.9, and then fold that in half at 10.5 centimetres, and that gives you your base. And this is the thick Whisper White, so it's got a good stand to it. Then the designer series paper, it looks like it should be going up and down, but actually even when it's behind it doesn't show, and it does have a kind of a diagonal slant to it which matches the card. So this piece here is 10 centimetres by 14.4 centimetres, so that our 9.5 by 13.9 will match beautifully on top of that. If you wanted to, you could make this slightly smaller and show a bit more, but I like it. It just gives a bit of a marbled effect around the outside. Okay, so now we have those pieces. Now what we need to do is clean our stamp. Okay. And then I'm going to take another piece of Whisper White, and this time I'm going to stamp up the flower in Night of Navy. And I just whacking that down anyway, it doesn't really matter where, because now we're going to cut it out. Now, if you can see here how I've done this, I've taken the rose shape and then I've taken these 2 petals as well out of the design, because if you don't take those 2 petals it kind of looks half finished. It looks like there's something missing. And you can see that these definitely are petals, whereas these are much more stems and leaves. So I'm just going to cut that out. Now, the good thing is that it's not exactly a straight cut flower, so you're just going to wiggle your way around, and you really don't have to worry about being too precise, because it's a flower and it has a kind of a, it's not a completely filled in flower because the lines are formed by the white. It's okay to leave a bit of white. Some places it's a little tighter than others, but I don't think that piece belongs. I did try it cut out with that piece in, but I don't think it belongs. I think that just makes it look odd, so that bit's coming off. It probably is part of the petal, but it's coming off. There we go. Okay. So that's now my flower. See, that didn't take very long. And then it's just a question of stamping this little banner piece here. So when I cut my Whisper White cardstock, I always cut 2 pieces at the same time. So if I do 9.5 and 9.5, then I get left with this piece, which is about 1 centimetre left. And then we're going to need the words, which are the wedding wishes. Just this little one here. And again, I'm going to try and line up the bottom of the words with the edge of the block, and then I just stamped that. Make sure you got it the right way around. Yep. I want to leave a good end, and then just stamp that in there. Okay, so now we're going to start layering it up, and then we can attach the twine and the gold piece. And then I did this. Now you could, if you wanted to, attach your gold piece to this and then do your twine around it if you find it a bit less fiddly. But I don't mind a bit of fiddling. I want to show you exactly how I did it, so then you can see and decide what you want to do yourself. There we go. Okay, so that's on there. And then, so I have this strip. It needs to be, it's 2.5 centimetres. And it needs to be 14.4. Okay, so then we've got this piece of gold speckledy sprinkles, that's the word I'm looking for. This gold sprinkles foil designer series paper here, and I'm just going to wrap my baker's twine to the back of that. And then I'm just going to tie that just under here in a knot. I'm not going to go for a bow. Okay, now it's a bit tricky when this is thin and narrow, which is why I say you might want to tie yours off first, attach it to the base first and then wrap it round, but this is what I did in my original design, so you're going to get it as is. Okay. And I want it about there, I think. Yeah. As I said before, I always try and tie 2 knots, keeping it loose until I've got my final bit done. This is probably really hard to see. All you can see probably is my fingers at this point. Honest, I'm tying a knot under here. There we go. Okay, and it will bow it slightly, but we're going to glue that down with some dimensionals to keep it tight. Okay, so I would now put that straight on so that's nice and firmly attached before you try and attach anything to it. So when I'm doing twine, I like to put one on the outside of either side, and then that way I know it's not going to move. There we go. And that kind of keeps it in place. And then the rest you can kind of intermingle along the edge. There we go. Okay. And as I've said before, I don't get stingy on my dimensionals because I don't like things going through the mail and then getting squished and creased because you didn't put a dimensional in the middle to hold the panel up. There we go. Alright, straight across the middle. Gotta wing it. Hope that's in the right place. Yeah, that's okay. There we go. And then our little rose is going to sit up there, and our little wedding wishes down here. And you could banner it if you want. You could cut some ends, but I quite like it without a banner. And I'm just going to pop that underneath the twine there, so the rose sits on top like that. Okay, so I'll go for a bit of multi-purpose glue under there because it lets me slide it in that way, and then I'm going to stick a dimension under there like that, and then just pop that down because then that holds that, and again it's not flapping around. And that's going to go over there. Careful, we don't want any dimensional showing. Just make sure they're not over the edge. Like that. Another one over here. Nope, showing again, Pip. There we go. Try not to stick it to your nails. Okay. There we go. And then I just chop these a little shorter. And there's that one. So that's how you make that card. Some fairly simple stamping, but it's quite dramatic. I think it's quite nice. And hopefully anybody would be happy to receive that if they were getting married. Okay, join me again for the next one shortly. Thanks, bye.